Hi friends, Mindy here. I'm going to be working through days 15 through 17 of the 100 Days Project in this video today. I'm just going through here and pulling out this card. I want to play with this product today. This is called fiber paste. I have had this in my stash and have just not used it in a really long time. So you can see I'm mixing it up really well. This is, it's a medium that you can use, and it's very fibrous, and it actually makes your paper almost feel, it's hard to explain. It's got little kind of like paper pulp in it almost, and so it gives just a really fun and interesting texture. Now, I knew going into this card that I was not going to have enough time to do much to it because of dealing with the actual fiber paste. So I'm running this video just a little bit not quite as fast as the other segments in this particular video in terms of speed, but I just kind of wanted to see, and I just wanted to really play with it. So it gives a really amazing texture. It's almost like a faux leather or something. It's really hard to explain, but it's just a lot of fun. And I knew I was going to lose a lot of time here because I needed to dry it. So I cut that part out of the video here, but I just wanted to leave it in. And what I'm going to do is I wanted to play with this fiber paste, and I had this idea to see what would happen if I tried mixing that with some acrylic ink. So I tried to show kind of the texture that this is, and I just put this on some like mixed media paper. So this is not, you can do this on canvases, you can do it on all kinds of things, but this particular medium, and get different results depending on how thick you put it down. I had to put it on pretty thin, like I said, so that I would have enough time to be able to dry it and play with it a little bit. So I have pulled out my acrylic inks, and these are fun to play with because you can do a lot of things with water and diluting them, but they will still, once they're dry, they will be permanent. So I pulled out a couple of the colors that I thought I was going to use at first, and then this one color, which I think it was like a phthalo something, I can't remember the exact name of it. It ended up being like more of a jade green than I was anticipating, so I went ahead and just used the other, which is like a cerulean blue hue, I think is what it's called. I'll try to remember to put the names down in the description box. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I just have a couple different brands, Amsterdam, De La Rowney, just different ones. They all kind of work the same, but some of them are, as I was remembering as I was playing with these, some of them are more opaque and some of them are a little bit more translucent. And so that kind of greenish blue color was a little bit more translucent than the brighter blue. And then this yellow one, I think I didn't get it shaken up quite as much. But you can see I'm just going in here and I'm just playing with layers, playing with textures. You can really kind of see the texture of the paper coming through here as I've wiped off some of this excess ink. And I'm just going to go back through here and play with this just to kind of see what would happen. And like I said, I had no anticipation that I would actually get like a full completed card out of here, but some of my idea for this 100-day project is to do things like this where if something pops into my mind and I want to try it, I just want to see what happens, and then I will also write on the back of the card like what medium I was working with, so that when I'm flipping through these cards, I can kind of remember, oh, that's right, that was that fiber paste that I wanted to use or whatever. So at this point, I'm kind of going back and forth between this feeling kind of like a globe or a map to me with the green and, just the green and the blue on it. And I really wasn't sure where I was trying to take this. I was just trying to really bring out a lot of the texture of this paper. And there was a specific color, and it's really hard to see on screen, but between the green and the blue, when they blended together, they made it this really beautiful secondary color. And so I was trying to force that to happen a little bit, which is why I keep going back and forth between those two colors. And I managed to get it in some areas, and then in others that blue is just too kind of opaque. So again, I'm just kind of going in and adding, subtracting, and drying, and adding layers, and just having fun, just kind of seeing what this will do. And at this point, I thought I should probably check my watch, and I realized I literally only have a couple minutes of my 15 minutes left. And again, because, between the layers and the drying and everything, I knew this was going to take up a lot of time. So I'm trying to get it finished to at least some point where I can kind of have something to show for it. Excuse me. So I am I'm just going to see if I can really bring out some of the texture again in this card from that fiber paste. And so I'm using archival ink. This is a vintage photo, and I'm just lightly kind of grazing over the top just to hit the high points of this the texture on here, and then I'm going to go around the outside, and that's really just trying to bring in, like, trying to really show off the texture. Again, I had a really thin layer of this fiber paste on here, but I wish you could like feel the way that this card feels. It's really, really fun, and I have a bunch of ideas to do with this stuff, so I'm really excited that I pulled this back out. It's been sitting in my stash forever. I just kind of have forgotten about it. So that's one of the good things about the way that I'm trying to work through the 100 Days project, is using up my stash, pulling things out. Right now I'm trying to figure out something to do to kind of finish this card, so apologize for just my tapping fingers there, but I was just trying to find some washi tape or something. So I have this washi tape that's got like a tree line on it, and I just thought that kind of went with the way that this background looked. Again, it's not going to be a completed card, and it really wasn't even 100% dry at this point, which you can see. I end up kind of nicking it somehow down in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see that little white area. That's because it just wasn't dry all the way. I was trying to do a little bit too much too fast, and so to kind of fix that, I'm just going to add a little bit more ink in there. It doesn't make it perfect, but at least it's not this glaring white spot on my little card. So there's going to be a close-up at the end of that as well. On this day, I decided to start with this really colorful background and kind of do some negative painting around it. This is something that I like to do, like if I create a really busy background with just stuff that's a lot of color. Typically what I'll do is kind of pull out a focal point. In this case, I'm just kind of doing some random kind of whimsical leaves here, and then paint around it. And typically I'll do that in white, so you can kind of, like a white gesso, so you can kind of see some of the other colors still kind of peeking through. But today, as I was sitting here, I realized I could not find my white gesso, and that's actually, I had intended to use it. But again, I knew I didn't have a whole lot of time. I only had 15 minutes. So I decided I just grab the black gesso that was within reach, and so that I didn't have to get up and waste my time trying to figure out what happened to my little bottle of gesso. So I decided to just go with the black because that was what was close. And then this particular day, I left all of the 15 minutes in here. I just sped it up a little bit faster because really all I'm doing is I'm just going to be painting. So and in the other one, I cut out some of the drying time. But anyway, not that any of that matters. Anyway, you can kind of see I'm just going through here. I couldn't even really find my favorite paintbrush, so this was kind of a little bit of a frustrating card to me, because this one was just harder to get the kind of shape and movement that I normally like from, everybody kind of, maybe everybody doesn't, but I have a favorite paintbrush that I like to use, and I couldn't find it either, but I just had to keep going. So you can see I started to dry this, and then I had some pencil lines there that I wanted to erase, and my paint was not completely dry. So I ended up smearing the black paint. So then I kind of had to go back in and revamp my little leaf over to the side and just add some more paint and kind of reshape everything. And I'll deal with my eraser with the paint on it later. So I'm trying to go through here and make sure that's really dry. You can see at this point I'm trying to multitask. So I am drying this with my left hand, and I'm shaking markers with my right hand, because 15 minutes goes pretty fast, especially when you're trying to do this little kind of doodly artwork. So I'm going in with my Posca pens. I've been using these a lot. I really love Posca paint pens. And so I'm just going around here, and on this black, I decided I really needed to do a second coat to get that really, really bright white that I was after. I don't know if that's because I hadn't shaken this marker, because these are pretty opaque paint markers. And so, but for whatever reason, I really needed 2 coats of it this time. Probably because it's on the black, but also I don't think I shook it very well because I was in a hurry. So I just wanted to add some little doodly bits, and then I got some white paint on there, so then I had to go back and add some more black. And anyway, just a kind of a back and forth. It's kind of the hazard of working with paints that are not completely dry when you're trying to move on to the next step, but that's okay. So here you see me, I've taken like a teal color. I'm just going around and doing some dots around the outside. And at this point I felt like it needed something else and I kind of wasn't sure. So I took this kind of pink and I thought, well, I'll just go on the inside. You couldn't really see it and I didn't really like how that was doing. So I just kind of left that one. And then I went ahead and wrote the number for the card on the back. And then I thought I'm just going to add some pink little kind of dots down here, kind of more concentrated toward the base of my little leaves here, and then kind of spreading out just a little bit. And that was it for that day. And then on day 17, I think this is day 17, I have this card. This is the paper that I'm using for the base is a Vicky Bouton 12 by 12 paper that I had cut down. And then I had this little seed packet in my stash from, I don't even know, just forever. I thought the colors went really well, and I really wanted to try to find a way to make these work, but I end up really struggling with this particular card, and I really liked the little 20-cent thing, so I tore that off specifically so that I could save that. But I'm just trying to make a way to make all of this make sense together, because you have this very, these flowers and then this very doodly, whimsical background, and just trying to make it work. So I thought I was going to use this card. These are some Artist Almanac cards from the Artist Almanac calendar, and I thought I was going to use this one, and I was just struggling to make this work so that it seemed like a cohesive piece. And so I keep just tearing and trying and rearranging, and I just could not make it so that all of these pieces kind of made sense in a way. And so then I just pulled out this other card and I laid it down, and I don't know if it was just the straighter edges because I hadn't torn this one or whatever. I just really liked how this looked, and so I ended up really liking it. The background has a lot of the same colors, so it kind of blends from the seed packet into the paper on the back, but with all of the same kind of colors. And so at this point I was really liking how that looked. And then the 20-cent sticker that I had really wanted to save, I don't know what happened to it. So this is me searching for it. Again, I left all of this in here just so you can kind of see it, literally flipping through everything, trying to find that little 20-cent sticker. And then I finally found it. It had flown clear across my desk. So I wanted to get that up on there as well. And then I'm just going in with some black pen. This is a Sharpie S-Gel in 0.7. And I'm just adding some doodles onto those other pieces because it matches with the doodles in the back. And then I used my Dymo label maker, the embossing label maker, and I typed out the word bloom. And I just stuck that on there. And then I'm going to add a couple more little doodles just to make sure that that's kind of cohesive. And then I'm going around the edge with some archival ink. This is in Black Soot. I like this one because it's a really black. And if you've used like jet black regular archival, it kind of has a bluish cast to it. It's just not as deep dark black. So I really like the archival Black Soot. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but there were a couple places that my glue stick didn't really glue down, but that's basically it. So here are some close-ups of these days. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.